Wealth is not a simple byproduct of hard work. In fact, the more we push for it without understanding the deeper forces at play, the further it seems to slip away. The truth is that financial success is not about working harder. It's about aligning your internal systems, your habits, your focus, and most importantly, your energy. If you find this insight valuable, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell to dive deeper into understanding the psychology behind wealth. When we struggle to create abundance, it's easy to blame external factors, the economy, luck, or the choices others are making. But the real culprit often lies within us. There are hidden, invisible forces within our own psychology that shape every financial decision we make. Patterns of behavior, emotional responses, and subconscious beliefs that quietly drain our potential. How often do you feel stuck, despite putting in the hours? How many times have you followed all the steps but still seen little change? The gap between your intentions and results is not due to a lack of effort, but to these hidden barriers. Once we identify these internal systems, we can begin to restructure them, allowing abundance to flow naturally, not as a result of luck or external forces, but from deep internal alignment. Don't forget to like this video if you're finding it insightful, and subscribe for more in-depth explorations of the psychology behind wealth creation. We often assume that wealth is something we can accumulate through hard work and smart decisions. But what if the real issue is that we're leaking the very energy we need to build it? Every day, unconscious habits drain our mental and emotional resources, sometimes in ways that are so subtle, we don't even realize it. These energy leaks are the silent killers of financial success. Take a moment to consider the small, repeated actions you make throughout the day. Checking your bank balance constantly, impulsive buying when stressed, procrastinating on important tasks, or filling your time with low-value activities. These aren't just trivial habits. They siphon off energy that could be directed toward meaningful financial actions. The result is that even though you're busy, disciplined, and productive, you may not be moving closer to your financial goals. This happens because energy isn't simply physical, it's psychological, and it's influenced by our internal alignment. When we unknowingly invest energy in these draining behaviors, we don't have the capacity left to focus on the high-impact, high-value tasks that generate real financial outcomes. What we need is to identify these leaks and redirect our energy toward actions that align with our long-term vision. How often do you find yourself making financial decisions that don't seem to align with your long-term goals? You might know what you should do, but something inside pushes you to make a different choice, often one that feels more comforting in the moment. This emotional pull, though subtle, is a powerful force in your decision-making process. Emotions, whether it's fear, desire, or even guilt, are constantly at play behind every financial decision you make. The desire for immediate relief, the need to appease feelings of inadequacy, or the fear of missing out can all drive decisions that don't make logical sense. For instance, you might purchase something on impulse to feel better in the moment, only to regret it later when the financial consequences catch up with you. This happens because emotions often bypass rational thought. They influence our behavior without our conscious awareness, guiding us toward choices that provide immediate satisfaction but undermine long-term financial goals. Understanding these emotional triggers is essential. By recognizing when emotions are influencing your decisions, you can begin to make more intentional, value-aligned choices that actually serve your long-term prosperity. The human mind is constantly bombarded with distractions, and as a result, attention becomes one of our most limited resources. When it comes to creating wealth, it's not just about the effort you put in, it's about where you direct your attention. Energy follows focus, and without focused attention, even the most disciplined efforts can yield minimal results. Consider the amount of time you spend multitasking, checking your phone, or thinking about things that don't directly align with your financial goals. Every time your attention shifts, it depletes your energy. This scattered focus means that your efforts are diluted, leaving you feeling busy without actually moving forward. You may believe that the more you do, the more results you will see, but in reality, the fragmented focus leads to stagnation. The key to wealth creation isn't just in doing more, but in doing the right things with deliberate, undivided attention. In this section, we'll explore how to master focus, channeling your mental and emotional energy toward high-value tasks that align with your financial objectives. By learning to focus your attention on what truly matters, you can transform idle effort into meaningful financial progress. It's common to think that desire is the driving force behind financial success, but in reality, it can also be one of the most significant obstacles to achieving abundance. Over time, many of us have learned to suppress certain desires, whether due to societal conditioning, personal guilt, or fear of judgment. These suppressed desires, whether they're related to wealth, status, or simply the freedom to live as we choose, create internal conflict. This internal suppression doesn't eliminate desire. Instead, it causes it to manifest in subtle and often destructive ways. People who suppress their true desires often find themselves engaging in financial behaviors that don't align with their deeper goals. For example, they might avoid taking risks even when clear opportunities arise, or they may overspend on things that temporarily satisfy their suppressed desires but don't contribute to long-term wealth. The key to unlocking abundance is not in repressing desire, but in understanding it and integrating it in a healthy, productive way. When you acknowledge and accept your desires, rather than suppressing them, you free up emotional and mental energy that was once tied up in conflict. This energy, once released, can then be directed toward financial actions that truly serve your long-term vision. What if the biggest obstacle to your financial success isn't your circumstances, but the fear of truly embracing what you want? Often we suppress our deepest desires not because we don't know what we want, but because we fear what will happen if we actually get it. There is a hidden fear attached to pursuing our true desires. Fear of change, fear of responsibility, or even fear of success itself. This fear doesn't necessarily manifest as a conscious thought, but as an internal resistance that holds us back from taking bold financial actions. You might want more financial freedom, a better lifestyle, or even greater career success. But there's a fear of what those changes might mean for your identity, relationships, or sense of security. The underlying belief is that pursuing your desires might force you to become someone you're not ready to be, or that achieving success could lead to unintended consequences. The reality is, fear of your true desires is a form of self-sabotage. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of inaction, avoiding the very opportunities that could lead to your growth. In this section, we'll explore how to confront this fear and reframe your relationship with success. Once you release the fear and embrace your desires, you'll discover that pursuing them isn't just liberating, it's essential for wealth creation. Financial decisions are rarely made in a vacuum. They're often influenced by the internal conflicts and suppressed desires we carry. You might think you're making rational, logical decisions, but the truth is that repressed desires, those emotional needs you've pushed aside, are constantly influencing the way you manage your money. The way you save, spend, invest, or avoid certain financial actions often reflects your unconscious internal battles. When desire is suppressed, it doesn't disappear. Instead, it distorts the decisions we make. For example, someone who has repressed their desire for freedom might stay in a job they hate simply to ensure financial stability, avoiding risks that could lead to better opportunities. Alternatively, they may overspend on things that provide short-term satisfaction, like luxury items or impulsive purchases, only to feel emptier afterward. These financial decisions, while seemingly logical, are often driven by a deeper, unconscious need for something that hasn't been acknowledged. The key to overcoming this issue is understanding how these repressed desires show up in your financial decisions. By confronting them, you can begin to make choices that align with your true financial goals, rather than continuing to make decisions that are shaped by emotional avoidance. This section will explore how to recognize and address these suppressed desires and how to align your financial actions with your authentic self. Our emotional energy isn't just a byproduct of our experiences. It's a key driver behind the decisions we make, particularly in the realm of finance. Every financial decision we make is infused with emotional energy, whether it's anxiety, desire, guilt, or a sense of worthiness. When we don't understand how emotions influence our financial choices, we allow them to guide us unconsciously, leading to decisions that may not align with our long-term goals. For example, financial decisions driven by fear such as hoarding money out of a fear of loss, can prevent us from making investments that could lead to growth. On the other hand, decisions driven by desire, such as purchasing items to fill an emotional void, may lead to short-term satisfaction, but long-term regret. Emotional energy, when misdirected, can be a significant drain on wealth-building potential. The first step toward transforming financial outcomes is recognizing the emotional currents that guide your decisions. By bringing awareness to how emotions influence your financial behaviors, you can begin to redirect your energy toward actions that are aligned with your true financial goals. In this section, we will explore how to gain control over your emotional energy and harness it to make conscious financial decisions that serve your long-term success. You know what you should be doing. You have a clear vision of the life you want to create, but somehow, your actions don't match your intentions. This disconnect is a silent barrier to wealth creation. We often feel that we are doing everything right, yet financial progress remains elusive. Why is it that even when the path is clear, we still hesitate to take the necessary steps? This internal conflict occurs when your conscious intentions are not in alignment with your subconscious habits and emotional responses. On the surface, you may believe that you're doing everything you can to achieve your financial goals, planning, working hard, saving. But beneath the surface, deeply ingrained behaviors and emotional reactions are quietly undermining your actions. You might procrastinate on important financial decisions, avoid uncomfortable but necessary risks, or fall back into old patterns that keep you stagnant. In this section, we'll examine the psychological reasons behind this disconnect and explore how to bridge the gap between intention and action. By aligning your subconscious beliefs with your conscious financial goals, you'll unlock a more efficient and powerful path to wealth creation. Procrastination isn't just about avoiding tasks. It's a deeper psychological issue that quietly drains your potential for success. While it may seem like a minor inconvenience, procrastination is often rooted in fear, anxiety, or an unconscious desire to avoid discomfort. The problem with procrastination is that it doesn't just delay progress, it also depletes your energy, leaving you stuck in a cycle of inaction. When you procrastinate on financial decisions, whether it's delaying investments, ignoring bills, or putting off important money management tasks, you're essentially deferring your energy. This is energy that could be put to productive use, but instead, it remains locked in avoidance. The more you defer, the greater the mental and emotional burden, and the less energy you have available to direct toward meaningful actions. In this section, we'll dive into the root causes of procrastination, how fear, perfectionism, and avoidance patterns shape your decision-making. We'll also discuss how to confront these psychological barriers, transform procrastination into action, and start using your energy for long-term financial growth. In today's world, it's almost impossible not to compare yourself to others. Whether it's through social media, workplace dynamics, or societal expectations, the pressure to keep up is constant. But what happens when this external pressure starts to drain your energy and distract you from your own financial goals? The desire to belong and be seen as successful can lead to decisions that are more about external validation than internal alignment. You may spend money on things that impress others, invest in trends that are more about status than financial growth, or prioritize social approval over personal financial freedom. This misplaced energy is a silent drain on your potential. In this section, we'll explore how social comparison impacts your financial decisions and siphons off your mental and emotional resources. We'll also look at how to break free from this cycle by redirecting your energy inward, aligning your financial choices with your authentic goals, and transforming external pressure into deliberate, value-driven actions. Delaying important financial actions is more than just an inconvenience. It's a psychological pattern that erodes your potential for growth. Procrastination on financial matters, whether it's avoiding a tough conversation with a financial advisor, postponing a key investment, or putting off organizing your budget, creates a sense of mental and emotional weight. Each delay sends a message to your subconscious that success is not a priority, and that the discomfort of taking action is something to be avoided at all costs. What makes this delay so damaging is the energy it wastes. Each time you postpone an important financial decision, you're giving away mental energy. This energy, instead of being used to propel you forward, remains locked in avoidance. The longer you delay, the more difficult it becomes to break the cycle of procrastination, leaving you feeling stuck and drained, with little progress to show for your efforts. In this section, we'll uncover the psychological roots of financial inaction. By identifying the underlying fears, anxieties, and avoidance mechanisms that keep you from acting, we'll show you how to reclaim your energy and turn it into deliberate, impactful financial actions that build wealth over time. When you overcommit yourself, you're spreading your energy thin across too many tasks, responsibilities, and commitments. The ambition to do everything leads to a quiet but powerful drain on your resources, making it difficult to focus on what truly matters. In financial terms, this scattered energy often results in suboptimal decisions, missed opportunities, and a lack of progress in achieving your wealth-building goals. The internal conflict here is clear. Ambition and drive push you to take on more than you can handle, but the limits of your time and focus are finite. Multitasking, spreading yourself across too many projects, or trying to juggle competing priorities can lead to shallow engagement with important financial decisions. As a result, even when you are actively working, your efforts feel unfocused and your financial results suffer. In this section, we'll explore how overcommitment diverts your attention away from high-value financial tasks and creates inconsistencies in decision-making. By learning how to streamline your priorities and focus on what truly drives wealth, you can consolidate your efforts into impactful actions that yield meaningful results. Much of our financial behavior is shaped by patterns we've established over years, sometimes unconsciously. These habits, often developed in childhood or early adulthood, influence the way we spend, save, and invest. The issue is that many of these habits don't serve our long-term goals and can even actively prevent wealth creation. Whether it's overspending on small luxuries, avoiding investment opportunities, or procrastinating on crucial financial decisions, these habits drain your energy and focus. The internal conflict arises when we want to move forward financially, but are held back by the same patterns we've been repeating. You may recognize these habits and see their negative effects, but the cycle continues because they have become ingrained in your subconscious mind. Behavioral patterns like emotional spending or lack of follow-through on financial plans keep you stuck in a loop, despite your conscious desire to improve. In this section, we'll explore how to identify these destructive habits and break free from them. By consciously choosing to replace old, unproductive habits with new, value-aligned behaviors, you begin to align your financial decisions with your long-term vision. This shift in behavior creates the necessary momentum for sustained wealth building. True financial success doesn't come from external strategies or mere effort. It comes from mastering your internal systems. The more you understand and control your focus, energy, emotions, and habits, the more effectively you can channel them toward wealth creation. It's about structuring your mind and behavior in a way that consistently supports your financial goals, rather than sabotaging them with unconscious patterns. Internal mastery means having full awareness of how your psychological tendencies shape your financial decisions. It's the ability to control your emotional responses to money, whether it's fear, desire, guilt, or overconfidence, and direct that energy toward actions that align with your values. When you can master these internal dynamics, wealth becomes a natural byproduct of intentional and deliberate behavior, rather than something you have to chase. In this section, we'll discuss how to cultivate internal mastery. This includes becoming aware of the triggers that influence your behavior, replacing old habits with new, more effective ones, and creating a mental environment where wealth-building decisions are easy to make. The power to create wealth lies within you. Master your internal systems and wealth will follow. At the core of financial success lies a powerful truth. Wealth isn't something that's earned through external effort alone. It's something that is created from within. The way you think, feel, and act about money defines your financial reality. The true key to wealth lies not in constantly chasing more, but in mastering your internal systems and aligning them with your true goals and values. When you master your internal state, your emotions, your habits, and your attention, you eliminate the invisible leaks that drain your potential and energy. You stop working against yourself and begin to work with yourself. The focus shifts from working harder to being smarter, aligning your efforts with clarity and purpose. This is when wealth becomes a natural byproduct of consistent, intentional actions that reflect your authentic desires. In this final realization, we bring everything together. You begin to understand that your financial future isn't dictated by luck, circumstances, or external conditions. It's dictated by your ability to align your internal systems with your deepest desires. When you achieve this, wealth is no longer something you struggle to achieve. It becomes something that flows to you effortlessly.